I tutored English on a site called Preply for 2 months. Was it worth it? I'll cover all the good and bad parts of Preply and give you my overall experience as well as a quick walkthrough of the site. I first heard about Preply from Jade Choi. I'm a big fan of Jade and her $1 Million Challenge. I'll put a link in the description. If you haven't checked out her content before, you should definitely check it out. For the most part, when I'm looking around YouTube for a new potential side hustle or income stream, I don't find a whole lot of new stuff. But in Jade's recent video about different side hustles, she recommended a website called Preply that allows you to sign up to tutor students in English. Overall, I actually found the experience to be really fun, but there were some downsides to the platform as well, so I want to tell you about all the good and the bad stuff. To get started, you just need a computer, internet connection, and access to a microphone and webcam. You can use your phone, and that's what most of my students did, but I found it easier to use the computer because then if my student had a question that I didn't necessarily know the answer to, I could quickly Google it without having to leave the conversation. And if they wanted to do the same thing, it would kind of pause the video, and it was just very disruptive and it kind of wasted their time. So I prefer to use the computer, but you could definitely use the phone. So how does it all work? You sign up as a tutor and create a profile. You'll also need to record a sample video that potential students will see that introduces you, and it also proves to Preply that you have access to good audio and video and that you're comfortable on video and that you speak English fluently. Once your video has been approved by Preply, your profile will become live and you can start communicating with students. Let me quickly tell you a few of the reasons that I really liked Preply as a platform. Number one was that payment was really fast. My account gets credited as soon as a lesson is over with a student, and you can transfer that money directly to your PayPal account almost instantly. I mean, like, you click it and PayPal says, hey, you got to transfer. Like, it's that fast. There's also no limit to the number of times you can request a transfer, and there's no minimum to transfer. So as soon as you earn some money, you can definitely get it right into your account. The second thing is that Preply lets you set the amount you want to charge for an hour's lesson. Now, there is a commission structure that I'll go into here in a minute that dictates how much of that you get to keep and how much of that goes to Preply, but you basically get to charge whatever you think you're worth. So if you're a highly experienced tutor or someone who has advanced degrees or credentials in English, you could definitely charge a lot more money. And the third thing is that there's a ton of students on Preply looking for tutors. I actually had to turn away students because they kept completely filling my schedule before I had a chance to modify it or to make sure that the students I'd actually agreed to work with had time to find slots for themselves. So there's a ton of opportunity if you're willing to look for it. The fourth thing that I really liked about Preply was the technology behind the video calls. It was very smooth, and other than a few internet issues that were no fault of Preply's, I had really good quality video and audio on the platform, and my students had no problem communicating with me. That all sounds pretty good, right? So how about the downsides of tutoring on Preply? There were a few things that I do not like about the Preply platform. The first is the payment structure for taking on a new student. Preply charges a 100% commission on the first hour with any new student. To me, that seems completely backwards. If I do a good job and a student likes me, they're far more likely to buy prepaid hours with me on Preply. That first hour, I'm basically a salesperson for Preply, except that my reward for making a sale is wasting an hour of my time. I get the point. They want people who are going to tutor, who are going to stick around, and honestly, I feel like I should get a bonus when a student decides to buy a block of hours with me, not get punished. The second major downside of Preply is that the scheduling tools really don't work that well. You can integrate with the Google Calendar, but you have to block out any time you don't want to be a Preply tutor, and that basically means that you have to have a separate calendar just for Preply. If you want to have all your scheduled appointments in one place, including Preply, it's just not going to work out. There also isn't a way to just make yourself available to a single student. What it would be really nice is if I could send a student a list of possible times, they could select from that list, and then I could just one-on-one make appointments. But they don't allow you to do that either. Overall, is Preply worth it? The default pay rate on Preply is $9 an hour. So you're free to charge as much as you like. My research indicated that the average is somewhere between $10 and $15 an hour, but teachers with credentials and experience doing like TOEFL prep or more structured tutoring make a lot more than people like me. Because I'm not a trained English teacher, I just tried to make it really clear in my profile and my demo video that I'm offering conversational English practice. I'm not a professional, so the students should not expect assignments, formal critiques, or instruction. I can help with grammar, American slang, and just having someone to converse with in English if you don't otherwise have access to a native English speaker to practice your English. After fees, as a brand new instructor, you get about $6.03 an hour if you charge $9, which is the default rate. And remember, you have to meet each student for the first hour for free. I did a total of 5 hours tutoring and made $24 and change. If I was just starting out and didn't have any other income, yes, I'd absolutely consider Preply to start building up my reserves. I'd also consider Preply if I was a professional tutor and I wanted to make full-time income. Because you can set your pay rate and also set your own hours, it's very flexible. It's a great way to make extra money, and you could definitely even earn a full-time income if you had the time. I also found tutoring to be a really fun way to earn extra money. My students were really enjoyable to talk with, and if you like learning about other cultures, it might just be a fun way for you to have an interesting conversation and also get paid to do it. All right, as promised, I am in the back end of Preply. This is where I was doing my tutoring. You can see that it's a pretty simple dashboard. There's a message center where students can send messages to prospective instructors, and those instructors can then respond to those messages, or once you have agreed to tutor someone, you can have messages there for planning, scheduling, really whatever you want. We traded articles, things that we were going to talk about in our next lesson, things like that. So from this dashboard link doesn't really go anywhere. It's not like a separate link. That's basically what we're on right now, where it has all of these options. So let me just show you how it works for students really quickly. So I told you you create a video and you set your hourly rate. This is what you're doing. You're creating a profile like these here. Students can then book a 1-hour trial. The trial you're not paid for as the Preply instructor. That trial is unpaid. And from there, any additional hours that those students would book with you, you would earn whatever your rate is, and then Preply would take their commission off of that. Let me just pull up the Preply commission rate here really quickly. And explain how you get paid. So Preply always takes 100% commission for your first lesson with every new student. That's really important to know because I did not read the fine print before I started tutoring. I saw a couple of students and I was like, I don't understand why I'm not being paid. Did a little Google searching, ended up on this page, and lo and behold, I just misunderstood how the platform works. So for your first hour with every new student, Preply takes a 100% commission. You earn 0 from that. Now, to me, that's completely backwards. I sort of explained that already. As a salesman for Preply, I feel like I should get a bonus if somebody buys 6 hours. I shouldn't be penalized if someone buys 6 hours of time with me after meeting me for an hour. But hey, it is how the system is. So as you can see, as you work your way up on Preply and you've tutored for more and more hours, you do get a higher percentage of whatever rate you've decided to charge. So for me, I was paying 33%. So I was charging $9. I was getting paid $6.03. If I were to get up to 21 hours of total tutoring, which honestly would not be that hard to do, I opened up 6 hours of my time to allow one of my students to book, and in that time all of my hours were filled up by people trying to book lessons with me. So it was actually difficult. I had to turn people away. I had to actually tell people, I'm sorry, I can't take new students right now. I'm booked as much as I can possibly take. And they were all very gracious and accepted that as an answer. So it didn't cause any problems. I think probably my Preply account has a black mark on it now because I turned down so many students who wanted to have lessons with me. However, I just couldn't. There's no way. I was looking at the schedule. I was like, I cannot work 7 hours this week for free. And yes, that's how you develop a clientele or students that would then pay for your services, and that's how you would build up. But yeah, for me, the week that I had done that, I was like, whoa, I need to pump the brakes on this thing because I do not want to be working for free that much. My time is valuable, and there's other things that I could be doing that might earn me a higher rate over time, or that could be, building up towards something that was much larger. But for what it is, for a way to make money on demand whenever you want, it works very well. All right, so let's go back to the dashboard. So this is how the students can find tutors. There's another way that tutors can find students. If you click find students up here at the top, there's like a message board here. Students can say what they're looking for, what level they're at, what they need help with, and what they're willing to pay. And then teachers can send them a message through these posts and say, hey, I provide what you're asking for. I would be happy to work within your budget. Let's work on this and this and this. And then they can book a lesson with you. Now, every time I tried to do that, I was not able to, because these messages, there's a limited number of responses they'll allow. And every time I tried, they were already full. So I don't know if maybe that's a less, a less effective method of finding students, because you really have to be the first one, or you're just not going to have a chance. So let's go back to the dashboard, and I'll just kind of show you around here. You can see all my messages with my students. I'm just going to leave that hidden. It's private, I guess. I don't know if they have the expectation of privacy. I would imagine they do. So I will just leave my students' names and pictures out of the video. But you can see here at the top, I currently have no earnings listed. If I click the drop down here, I can hit withdraw money. And like I told you before, this is basically instant. That money was transferred to my PayPal account instantaneously. I got an email from PayPal within minutes of clicking that button that said you have money in your account. So that is one of the very best parts about Preply. You can see here my profile. I had to set up my profile. I'm about 66% done. It didn't seem to make any difference as far as the students were concerned. I think probably if I was a higher earner, had more credentials, there would be more for me to put in there. I did a video, I did a image, and I wrote a little blurb about how I used to tutor students in English back in college, which is true. So I had a little experience, but I just do conversational English. I don't have any credentials for teaching. I'm not an English major. I can help people with English grammar as an English speaker, native English speaker. I can help with American slang. I can help with conversation. That's basically what I said, and then I had no problems finding students. If you go to my statistics, this is like response times and how long it took a student to get a response back from me. I did get a recommendation. Let's see. Looks like I don't quite have enough hours worked. I've done 5 total tutoring hours. It looks like I don't have enough hours worked for a lot of these things to be filled out, for performance rating and for attendance rate and whatnot. I don't think I ever missed a lesson. I had my student cancel one, but it was a Saturday morning early for him, and made total sense to me. I was actually hoping that he wouldn't be able to make it that time. All right, learning plans. There's a bunch of structured plans. If I click this, it'll show my students that I've been working with, so I kind of don't want to do that, but there's a bunch of structured learning plans, and if you're not an experienced tutor, it's really nice because you can just click one of those, and it's basically got a curriculum for you. You can just say, oh, we want to talk about something that's in the news, and it has like certain topics. They're all like not non-confrontational, like scientific topics or business topics or things like that. Things that are easy to converse about, but not necessarily, going to cause strong opinions. And then there's some things for like just little assignments you can give your students and things like that if you identify something that they need help on. So it's actually pretty cool. The one thing I did want to show you here is the calendar. So you can sync with your Google Calendar, but like I said, the way it works with the syncing of the Google Calendar is they look for open blocks on your Google Calendar. So that means you have to block out all the time except for what you want to be available for on Preply. To me, that meant having a whole separate calendar, having a whole separate Google account. It's just not something I'm really interested in doing, so I didn't do that. But the problem with that is that if I go in here and I open up time, Preply wants it to be recurring time. So if I say I'm available from 1700 to 1900 on Mondays, it's going to say every Monday and make that available for students to sign up. So it was getting a little bit difficult. What I'd really like to be able to do is to have a calendar for each student and open up blocks of time and have those students tell me, okay, I want to be in this block. Even if we're only meeting 1 hour a week, they just pick an hour, or I have invitations to my calendar where I can say, okay, we've met, now you have access to my calendar. So maybe I do my first lessons, my free lessons with a student, and then once I've done those free lessons, then I open up my calendar to that student, so that like I could have 4 hours a week that I'm open to new students, and then the rest of the hours that I put on my calendar, those are for existing students. It's not something that's currently available. It would be amazing, Preply, if you ever see this, that would be amazing. All right, I'm gonna go through, I guess we could go to my, I don't know, settings is just change your password. That's basically it. We could look at my profile. It just says my pay rate. This is where you would set it if you wanted to change your pay rate. You could put it at whatever you want. I started at 9. That's the default. I upped it to 10. Wasn't a big deal. I had no problem even at 10. My picture. I did a description. You'd think I would have made a better video because I make YouTube videos, but my video is 1 minute long. And I have all of my junk in the background. Nobody seemed to care. The students didn't seem to care. They just really want to talk to people, and I was able to do that. You can go set up what subjects you're comfortable with. Fill out your profile here. I didn't want to work with kids at all. I just wanted to work with older people and adults. What subjects? Okay, that was the subjects. And then my background. This is more of an education background. The only reason I didn't fill this out is because I don't know where my diplomas are. So I didn't upload any diplomas, and they're not teaching certificates anyway. So to me, it didn't really matter. And let's talk about verification for a minute. Before you can be paid by Preply, you have to submit your photo ID, and you have to be from one of the native English-speaking countries. So you have to show a photo identification from Canada, the UK, or the United States, and then you have to show a picture of yourself as well, holding your ID after you submit the picture of the ID, so that they can basically tell that you're a real person and that you are not, some made-up scammer or something. I think this is for tax purposes, and also so they can verify that you are indeed an English speaker, native English speaker, if you say that you are, because of where you're from. I don't know. It was a pretty simple process. It took a few minutes on my phone, and that was that. But other than that, guys, this is the back end of Preply. It's very simple. It's clean. Like I said, the video quality was good. The audio quality was good. It used my normal webcam that I'm using right now, so the image was basically the same as what you're seeing. And that's how it's done. That's how Preply works. There are also some alternatives to Preply if you want to check out some other platforms that kind of work the same way. If you're interested in tutoring but want to see what else is out there, check out these sites. I'll put them in a link down in the description below, but they're Eureekly, italki, and Verbling are some other platforms that are pretty similar to Preply. So am I going to keep tutoring on Preply or not? I did have a lot of fun tutoring, and I could see myself doing it again, but for the stage that I'm at, earning extra money, I'd rather work on something that's going to pay me a higher rate over time. Spending an hour tutoring for $6 just isn't worth it, and that's about how much I would make from like one t-shirt sale. And those t-shirts can sell over and over without me having to do anything. If I was starting over, or I wanted to quickly make money so I could start a website, or needed to buy gear for a YouTube channel or something like that, I would definitely consider tutoring as a way to build up my cash reserves while I look for more permanent and more passive income opportunities. If you're just getting started, then tutoring is fun and easy way to grow your wealth account. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Doug with merchmetrics.com, and I'll see you in the next video.